I took a job as a personal trainer. I got certified to be a personal trainer, and then I worked at just a local gym as a trainer, and I quickly learned, okay, this is a lot harder than it looks on TV. So The Biggest Loser was on TV at the time, I think when I was in high school. I don't know if you remember that, but it had Jillian Michaels and, people essentially went to these destinations to lose weight. And it was a very intense weight loss journey. And I didn't like how they did it, but I liked, the idea of having a trainer to help you get healthy and more fit and stuff. But working that job as a trainer, one, it took a lot of communication and sales, and I always coined the phrase of like, I'm not good at sales, quote unquote, I'm not good at sales. I just don't like it. And you actually have to be really good at sales to be a fitness trainer at a gym, even build your own business as a trainer. Like, you have to be good at sales. I was not. And so I quickly was like, okay, I can't do this full time. And that's when I decided to do my master's of public health, to buy me some more time. So that way I didn't have to go into the working world quite yet. Like, I could get my master's degree that would give me, ideally, a leg up, or at least get my applications looked at. It was 2010 when I graduated. So there was a recession going on around 2008. Like, I was just applying to all these jobs and not hearing back at all. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go get my master's degree. And the reason I decided on getting my master's of public health was because I interned at Verizon Wireless's uh, employee health and wellness center that they had in South Carolina. And I interned there, one, because I liked employee wellness. I was interested in it, but also it was a paid internship. I did that my senior year of undergrad, and I really enjoyed it. And my manager at that workplace had her MPH. And I was like, okay, I want her job. I eventually want to do what she does. So in order to get there, I need to have my MPH. That is literally what shaped my decision. I was like, all right, I'm going to get my MPH. And that's when I had to choose between staying at University of South Carolina, or do I want to go back home to go to LSU's MPH program, which is located in New Orleans. Again, it would have been easier to go to LSU's program. I could have stayed at home. I could have, probably saved money that way. But there was something calling to me to stay in South Carolina. I was already comfortable with the campus, so I chose to stay. I also had my boyfriend, who is now my husband. At the time, we met freshman year. So it was like, my people are here, and I decided to stay. And I think that worked out in my favor too. But I'll just add, my parents didn't like that decision that I wanted to stay. So they said, all right, we're cutting you off financially. And I recognize how lucky I had it that they helped me in my undergrad. I had student loans, I had stuff, but they did help me in undergrad. But it was kind of shocking at that point to be like, they're like, you need to pay for your cell phone, you need to pay for your health insurance. Like, they basically cut me off completely. And so in undergrad, I think we're going to go through like my list of jobs. I had to work 3 to 4 different odd jobs just to make ends meet, to pay rent, to pay for food and stuff. And looking back on it now, I am so glad that I got my MPH, because it did get me more noticed when I started applying for jobs after that. So that way I didn't have to work 3 to 4 different jobs after that. I did still choose to work as a volleyball coach once I got my full-time job, because I liked volleyball, but getting my MPH really helped kind of get more noticed and have the professional skills that I don't think you quite get in undergrad too.
Well, thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable around your story as well. And uh, Yeah, so you got your master's of public health with a focus on exercise science, physical activity, and public health at University of South Carolina. Some of the roles that you had, as you shared, through the many roles, are you're a student intern and part-time trainer at the Verizon Wireless Employee Wellness Center, personal trainer at Pivotal Fitness, practicum student at Girls on the Run of Columbia, graduate assistant for campus wellness faculty and staff office at the University of South Carolina Student Health Services, as well as a dog sitter and house sitter. So tell us maybe a little bit about those experiences and what did you learn from
Yeah, you have to take a breath after that list, right? Like that's a lot, especially campus wellness, faculty and staff office at University of South Carolina Student Health Services.
It's a
Yeah, that
mouthful.
takes
It's
up
a
a lot of
mouthful.
room.
Yeah.
Takes up a lot of room on the resume too, right? That was my favorite job that I had in grad school. I worked 20 hours. It got me in-state tuition. It was it was a graduate assistantship, right? And getting that really secured that I could stay in South Carolina to do my master's program there. I loved working there. I had a fantastic manager, Tina Devlin. She is on the board now at Ches, and she has her MChes. She's fantastic. And just I got to plan programs. I think sometimes you hear graduate assistantship and some people like grade papers or they have to lead like labs or something, which is good exposure. But in that role that I had, I got to plan, implement, and evaluate programs for faculty and staff at the university. I was getting like real experience instead of just taking, in our public health program, we took a lot of program planning classes, evaluation classes, and I was getting that experience right then and there with my assistantship, and I loved it. I mean, I wanted to have that job too, and it was a very small office, and so timing didn't work out. That any job openings were available, but that's what I really wanted to do. I was like, I want to do employee wellness on the university side of things, but it's just such a small field. So that was 20 hours a week. And then I probably did about like 5 to 10 hours as a trainer. I would show up to train my clients. I really didn't have room to add anyone. Like I'd go to school, and then I'd come train from like about 6 to 8 p.m. And then I would intern, or I worked at Verizon Wireless 1 day a week or so. Like it was just my schedule was packed to the brim. And then some people would ask me to dog sit or house sit. I am very trustworthy, and I think that is a very big compliment when people ask you to take care of their dogs who are like their children to them, and stay in their houses and stuff. So it's a big compliment, and also was another working paying gig. So I had to take everything that came to me. Um and it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. It was a really busy 2.5 years. It took me an extra semester. I started in spring 2011. I wanted to start in the spring, specifically because I knew if I waited to the fall, I might not do it. When I was in my senior year of undergrad, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna find jobs. Like, no worries, I'm gonna find a job. I'm a good student. Like, I've got a 4.0 GPA. I could put that on my resume. I, I won't have a problem." But I did have a problem. Like, no one was hiring. I had student loans to pay off, and I didn't even take what is it, the GRE? I didn't take the GRE until the spring. So I had basically missed the window to apply for the fall semester, which actually, looking back on it, it gave me a semester, to work, to do my personal training, and really see and discover like, I don't like this world. Like, I want something bigger for myself. And so I started in the spring. I applied for the spring because I'm like, if I don't do it now, if I have to wait a whole nother year till August, it might not happen. So I started in the spring and then I did another 2 years. So it took me 2.5 years to finish my MPH program, which in the grand scheme of things is nothing, right? Just maybe a little extra money to pay for that extra semester.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. And you were definitely busy, and I can tell that there were many like challenges that you had to overcome throughout that period of time as well.